playground.
Hooray!
This is the Deron Harris Podcast. Here's your host, Deron Harris.
Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Deron Harris, and this is the Deron Harris Podcast. Thank you for joining me this week. How you feeling? Hopefully everybody's having a good week. Hopefully everybody had a great week last week. I know some of us didn't. Some of us actually had a pretty bad week. Some things happened in the country that left a lot of us, let's just say, less than hopeful about the future of our country. And people are very vocal about it. People are very upset about it. There are some people that are happy about it. There really are. The people who voted for him are happy, but some of the people that voted for him are starting to find out that they didn't vote for everything that he was running on. They're realizing that they voted for a lot of things that they don't agree with. But they didn't believe the people that were trying to tell them when they were trying to tell them what this guy was planning to do. And it's all right. I mean, people vote for the people that they think can make their lives easier. So, the people that voted for Donald Trump, they voted for him because they thought that he could make their lives easier via the economy or whatever it may be. They figured that, he could secure the jobs by closing the border and deporting undocumented immigrants. I'm not using the word illegal anymore. They really thought that, he was running on honesty, that he was running on family values, that he was running for righteous morals. But what they figured out is that although he did run on some of those things, he ran on a lot of other things that they just were not prepared to research enough because they were in the whirlwind of, I guess, their so-called savior and his attempt or his push to win the presidency back. So they overlooked a lot of things. They believed a lot of things that he said that, quite frankly, I mean, if you know the man, you would just know that some of the things were not true. Now, I don't want to make this a Trump bashing session. I really don't. I'm really trying the hardest I can not to bash off on this motherfucker, but it's difficult because now you see a lot of things that he is planning. All of a sudden, like I said last week, his amnesia about 2025 has gone away. So now we see what his agenda truly is. And it's pretty damning. It's pretty shitty. And I've had some conversations with friends that are on the right, and they seem to believe that he's going to be better for the economy and et cetera, et cetera. But when I put civil rights in front of them, when I put education in front of them, they can't really rebut. They don't have anything to say. They always revert back to, well, he was great for the economy. But let's take a look at that really. I mean, he really wasn't great for the economy. I mean, he actually was not great for the economy. He came in after 8 years of Obama. Obama is the one who set the economy up, and it took Trump 2 years to destroy it. I mean, he lost jobs. He didn't create any jobs. He lost jobs. He lost more jobs than any president in U.S. history. He lost jobs. Between Clinton, Obama, and Biden, there was something like 50 million jobs created. There were like 50 million jobs created under those people, under that administration. People want to say, it's bullshit. Go look it up, man. I'm going to use the phrase of a friend of mine, Memphis on Air, he said, hey man, do your own research. Go look it up. I'm sitting here doing it. You can do it too. But that's the problem though. That was one of the problems here for this election. A lot of people didn't do research. A lot of people didn't do their due diligence. A lot of people just went with what he said at face value. And there's reasons that they went with what he said at face value, and they didn't really care about his politics. They didn't care about him being a rapist or any of that stuff. They didn't care about anything that he had done previously to minorities. They didn't care about any of that stuff. They didn't care about whether or not they actually thought he was going to make the economy better. They didn't care about that stuff. The only thing they cared about is whether or not he was going to make white supremacy the first thing on the agenda, which it was. And the way you can understand that, the way you can realize that is looking at everything that he plans to do with civil rights, with the civil rights of people in this country. Now, you do know that he wants to dismantle the Board of Education. We know that. We've heard that, and we've heard it a lot. So now that he's the president, there's getting ready to be no more Board of Education. And that's going to hurt some people. That's going to hurt a lot of people. Now, there's vouchers for school choice, and there's private schools and charter schools and things of that nature. But there are people that just don't live close enough to places like that don't have the resources to be able to send their children to private school. And some of them don't even have the resources to buy their children uniforms for charter schools and things of that nature. They may not have proper transportation because they live, on or below the poverty line. And they have no choice other than to go to public school. Now that public schools will be defunded for teaching actual history, things like slavery and that it was bad and who was behind it, those schools will now be defunded. And from what I understand, anyone who attended these schools and had to learn about these things that he called divisive, he wants to pay them restitution for having to sit through these classes or these curriculums. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. That is a slap in the face to everything that any minority in this country has gone through. Well, let me rephrase that. Most minorities. I was going to say immigrant, but his wife is an immigrant, and she didn't have to fight for anything. My problem here is this. A lot of people gave this person the pass, and they masked it as politics. They believed in his politics. Well, if they believed in his politics, then they would do their due diligence and understand that Republican presidents are not really good for the economy. They're not. They're good for businessmen. They're not good for the common man. That's the problem. That's the problem with businessmen running the country. Is businessmen treat it like a business. And a businessman, if something's not working out for them, they go and they cut their losses. And they leave whoever, it doesn't matter. This person may have been working there for 15 years and had a bad week or came in late a couple of times and now they're fired. Under some simple circumstance. That's what I feel that the government is being ran like. And I think that in the realm of choosing a leader for the country, I'm talking about for the entire country, and I'm talking about for all the people in the country. In terms of choosing a president that's going to represent all the people, I think that we need to do a little more research, a little more digging, a little more due diligence, because we have a president now that is only concerned about one side and not concerned about every citizen in this country. He's so bent on getting immigrants out and ending protections for minorities that his disdain for people is actually starting to shine through. His elitism is starting to shine through. His disregard for the needs of every American is prominent. It's right there in everybody's face. He does not care about a lot of Americans. He doesn't care about what you do or what you've gone through or what you will go through. The things that he is proposing is about to put so many Americans in peril. He's going to cut Medicare and Medicaid for Americans that need it. Social Security is going to get an overall. My mother is on Medicaid. It's going to affect her. She's 77. And he doesn't care about her. There are people out here that are going to die behind that. Behind these votes. In my personal opinion, that is wrong. That's just wrong. That's wrong to vote for someone who's going to cut these programs without seeing that without looking in the faces of the people who these programs benefit. These people need these programs and they're being ripped away from them. And if that's not harsh, I don't know what is. If that's not un-American, I don't know what is. America has become this place where, well, we've always known that there's been two different Americas. But now it's becoming literally two different places. And the way it's different is there is this group of people, the people that voted for him, there is this group of people that believe that they are inherently entitled to everything in this country before everybody else. That's why they voted for him. But then there's other people that voted for him, like I said before, because they believed that eggs cost too much and transportation is a lot, and they don't want to hear about woke anymore. They don't want to hear about the atrocities that people committed in history. So there's been laws made and concessions made for white folks, essentially, so they don't have to feel uncomfortable hearing about, the things that they have done. And I'm sorry. It's the truth. And I say it a lot. Sometimes the truth hurts the worst. But you don't have to sit here and you have to dwell in that because, like I always say, it wasn't you, okay? Maybe it was your ancestors. Maybe it was your great-great-great-grandpa, but here's your opportunity. This is your chance right now to stand up and say, you know what? My grandfather was this person, but I'm not. But there are too many people that are. Too many people that are. And I blame the media. I blame the media and I blame Republican politics. I blame those two areas for what we have going on now. And the reason why is they want to the media, it's no secret, the media demonizes black people. If a white person does something, you hear about it on the news. If a black person does, you hear about it on the news, the internet, in church, everywhere, DMV. If a black person does something, they ostracize the shit out of them. And that's usually what happens. It's no secret that I can commit a crime and my white counterpart can commit a crime and I'm going to get, 3 to 5 times more jail time than he's ever going to get. I'm going to get 3 to 5 times more punishment than this man is ever going to get. And it's no secret. And the reason why is because the demonization of black people in America. And that is done through politics and through the media. And its imagery. The constant flashing of negative imagery about black people, especially black men. Is a bunch of negative imagery that is, energy also, but a bunch of negative imagery that is constantly displayed. And we are being programmed without really even realizing it. We watch TV, we listen to the radio, we look at the internet, scroll through Facebook and Instagram, and a lot of us are being programmed without us even knowing it. And I gotta say, man, we have to start recognizing the signs of when we're being played by people. We have to start seeing these things. We gotta start seeing when the chain breaks. We got to start seeing where the chain is broken. And the things before that break that are occurring and taking place. Are there things that are causing this chain to break? Are there people that are causing this chain to break? We got to ask ourselves a lot of questions, folks. We let ourselves down. And I think a lot of Trump supporters are starting to realize that we may have let ourselves down. And that's evident by the Google searches in red states on whether or not they can change their vote. And that's pretty telling. I'm gonna take a quick fast break. When I come back, we'll chop it up some more about what's going on and what are we gonna do now, folks? What are we gonna do now? I'm Darren Harris. I'll be right back. Hey, y'all, what's up? It's Darren Harris from the Darren Harris Podcast. Check this out, man. I've been rocking with these Factor foods for a little bit now, and let me just say that I am 100% digging this, and it really is the easiest thing in the world. It's super convenient, super easy. They deliver it 100% fresh and never frozen right to my house. 2 minutes in the microwave, bam, absolutely delicious chef quality food at the table. I don't have to prep nothing. I don't have to clean nothing, and it don't drain my pockets, which is really important. See, my wife has got me to start working out recently, and I've been trying to reach some wellness goals. So I've been trying to eat more vegetables. So I chose like a more vegetarian-based diet. But you could choose from like 35 different chef-prepared meals. It's dope because you can choose like a more protein-rich diet. You could do a vegan diet, keto, pescatarian, you name it. These Factor foods make it really easy to stick to a healthy diet. And I'm starting to see and feel actual results because I'm not eating a bunch of junk anymore. And I'm not kidding, man. These foods are absolutely delicious. They're not boring at all. There's like 60 different add-ons, so you can switch it up. You don't have to keep eating the same thing over and over again. They do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so they got every meal of the day covered. They have a variety of different smoothies that you can even add to supplement your meals, man. So if you want to try Factor Foods out for yourself, which I think everybody should, you can head over to factormeals.com/Darren50 to get 50% off your first box. But you're also going to get 20% off your entire next month. So again, go to factormeals.com/Darren50 to get 50% discount off your first box and 20% off your entire next month. With Factor Foods, you enjoy great meals with an unbeatable convenience.
Now, back to the Darren Harris Podcast.
Hey, what up, everybody? Welcome back. Talking about what we're going to do now. One of the reasons why things are not looking good here in the country, and I don't know if anybody has noticed, but for the first time in the history of our country, our government, the entire government, from the president all the way down to the Supreme Court, is now controlled by a single party. And unfortunately, it's the party that wants to undo a lot of America and what America truly and actually stood for and was built for. They want to change it. They want to change the narrative of what America means to everyone, what America is supposed to mean to the world. They want to change that narrative. They want to get rid of what the forefathers, I won't call them my forefathers because a lot of them were actually enslavers, but and colonists. But the forefathers of this country, they wrote some shit down. They wrote some shit down on a piece of paper, and it was to basically let everybody know what this country stands for and what it is going to be in the future, what it should be in the future. And it said all men. Now, back in the day, they weren't really considering black people men, but we've come a long way since them days, and I'm no longer 3/5 of a man. I am 100% all original man. Okay? So the things on that document, they apply to me also. But there's a lot of people that don't think that these things should apply to me and should only apply to them. That I should continue to be subservient to them. And they wholeheartedly believe that and will stand up every single day and defend that. Like I said, folks, we are we are in uncharted waters. We're floating around in the ocean with no rudder and no sail and no engine, no gas. And we're about to run up on the rocks somewhere. We don't know where, but we're about to run up on the rocks. And like I said, for the first time in history, the whole government is Republican. And I hate to say it, it's going to get real dry around here. All these people that seem to think that America is going to be this, it's going to get really, really dry around here. Okay? I mean, his cabinet, the cabinet that he's picking, I mean, he's picking people that, I mean, honestly, even Republicans are like, why the fuck you picking him? Like Matt Gaetz. Why the fuck would you pick Matt Gaetz as the attorney general? Ain't that motherfucker under investigation for sex trafficking some 17-year-old chick? I mean, I think that's really what's going on. I think that's really what's happening. Or maybe not. And that's the thing. That is the thing. The person that ran and has been elected to office is a 36-time felon, and I've said this before also, the only 36-time felon that is walking around free. The only one. Walking around free. While there's plenty of felons that are still incarcerated, he's the only felon that's able to vote. The rest of the felons here, where I live at least, they can't vote. There's a lot of people down here in this, right down the street from me, they got one felony and can't vote. This guy has 36 felonies, and the governor of Florida made a concession for him to vote for himself. He allowed it. And I want to understand why. I want to understand why you will allow that person to vote but won't allow the rest of these people to vote. And the reason why is because it's not fair. It's not fair. It's never been fair, and it's never going to be fair. And every immigrant and every black man and every woman that voted for Donald Trump made sure of that. And that's unfortunate. That really is. That's super unfortunate, folks. I mean, because I'm flabbergasted. I thought we were better than this. I thought we were headed to the future. But instead, we are being taken back at light speed back to the past. Back to our past. Can you imagine having to refight for the things that we've already fought for? Can you imagine people having to die again for things that people have already died for? This man means to turn this country into a place where no minority is safe. And all these, all the Latin men that voted for him because you guys are hardworking and you think that Trump respects hard workers. And I'm sure, some of you have undocumented relatives that are living right here with you. And you seem to think that this man is going to let your relatives have a pass because you're a hard worker and you contribute. You have another thing coming. He is going to deport Abuela immediately. Everybody. And you voted for that. You voted to have families torn apart. And I'm talking now, I'm talking to Latin men now. You voted for that. The Latin men that voted for Trump, you voted to have families torn apart, man. You may have even voted to have your own family torn apart. And that's what it means to vote against your own interests. I mean, think about that, man. You have a grandmother that's undocumented in this country. And you didn't think about that before you went out and cast your vote. And now that you've cast your vote, I bet you're one of the people who is Google searching how to change your vote, because now you're realizing that members of your family are at risk. And not only that, so are you. How does that make you feel? I mean, for me, it makes me feel like you don't care about people and that you've been indoctrinated into this cult, and that's exactly what I'm going to call it, because that's exactly what it is. And I mean, Jim Jones, eat your fucking heart out. But that's what you did. You signed up for it, and you threw your people under the bus. And don't get me started on black men. Don't get me started on black men, because they did the same thing. And this is what black men, this is what you voted for. Okay? Now just stay with me for a couple minutes, folks. He just cut he's getting ready to dismantle the Department of Education. Remember the families that I talked about before that couldn't afford certain things and maybe wouldn't be able to take advantage of some of these things, and they would have to have their kids in public school? Well, these schools aren't going to be very funded. So their education isn't going to be as good as it is now, even. You know, I mean, everybody's complaining about it. Well, it's about to get a whole hell of a lot worse. And you voted for that, black men. You voted for inner city schools to get worse education than they're getting now. Little black boys and girls, little brown boys and girls, little Asian boys and girls. You voted for that. You have voted for that. Now, I'm going to take the brown boys and girls and Asian boys and girls, and I'm going to focus on the black boys and girls for the black men that voted. Okay? Black boys and girls, listen to this. So now the school's all fucked up, and education is suffering. These people can't get better jobs because they don't have the aptitude, because they're not being taught these things properly in their school, especially super underfunded schools. Watch the way they start looking. And when you have underfunded schools and you have uneducated people in the community, what do? They got to resort to all kinds of craziness to feed their families, man. You got women out there selling their bodies. You got dudes out there hustling drugs. Motherfuckers out there pimping, all kinds of crazy shit. Stealing from people, home invasions, carjackings, all kinds of shit. And that's the direct result of not having the resources in your community to get you up out of that. To make it so that you have other alternatives, other opportunities than just hijacking carjacking motherfuckers. Well, yeah, hijacking motherfuckers. Education gives you a different opportunity. Funding education is what needed to happen. But they funded education all right, but they didn't fund education in urban parts of town for black boys and girls, for brown boys and girls. They didn't do that because they didn't care to. They saved all that extra money and they gave it to all the privileged boys and girls. Let's just call them that. The privileged or clear boys and girls. That's what they gave them new stadiums. And I saw a school with 2 gyms. And across town, there's a school with no gym. But that's what you voted for. You voted to keep that happening. Okay, you voted to keep that happening. So what's going to happen actually is the education is going to be kicked down to the states, and the states are going to make the decisions about the curriculum. Now, if you got a state that historically has disenfranchised minorities, especially black people, places like Texas, Louisiana, Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, should I go on? Then they're just going to continue to further disenfranchise these people. And now it's okay because it's the law. So now you have all these people in these communities that have that have fallen off, that have fallen off the scale, fallen off the radar. And they're out here in the streets and they're wilding. So what happens now? What happens now? Well, what happens now is this. Because crime has gotten bad, or crime is going to get bad, and the law enforcement now falls under the jurisdiction of the president, he is at will to order local and state law enforcement officials to go out into these communities and impose martial law for the safety of our community, for the safety of our citizens. But these are your citizens, the ones that you're disenfranchising right now, the citizens that you're taking away Medicaid from, the citizens that you're taking away education from, the citizens that you're taking away justice from. Those are citizens. And that's the problem. All these folks, all these MAGA people, they don't see us, and I'm going to include myself in that. They don't see us as citizens of this country. They don't see us as contributors to this country. They don't see that. They see us as a burden. They see us as a scourge. They see us as a cancer to what they have going on here. When in actuality, it's the other way around. They don't want progress. They want to keep things just like they are. They want to keep the status quo. They want to keep things just like they are. They want you to be in poverty. They want you to struggle. They're building massive prison complexes. I live on a road that if you take this road out east of town, in about 10 miles, you run into about 4 prisons. There's about 4 prisons out there. And they're clearing space and they're building more. And the reason why they're building more is because of the plan that they have laid in place for us to fall into. And we are going to fall into it. And we are, because we always do. And the reason why we fall into these traps is because they have learned and they've become super efficient at distracting us while they do what they have to do in order to keep us in the place that they want to keep us in. And what are we going to do about that? What can we do about that? There's a lot we can do about that, but we won't ever do anything about it because we as a people, and even we as a party, can't pull it together. We can't get it together. We campaign and we run on the wrong things. We really do. Kamala Harris lost because she ran on the wrong things. She did not appeal to the people that she really needed to, which were the immigrants and the minorities of this country. She should not have appealed to who she was trying to appeal to. She was trying to maintain some sort of status quo. She picked the wrong running mate. This was her opportunity to show the country and the world that we are more than just white men. She had that opportunity. She had the opportunity to do so many things. One thing she should have ran on, and people say, oh, no, they would have never let her do it. It's not up to them. It's up to us. It's not up to them. It is up to us. And the reason and how it's up to us is by us going out and voting. But the problem is we don't ever get to make any decisions because we really have just started to go out and vote. And the reason why is because for years and years, there's been voter suppression, voter intimidation. The state of Georgia is fucking famous for it. Brian Kemp needs to be gone. I mean, because he's famous for it. And it's a true thing. It happens. People are like, oh, no, they're cheating. No. The other side's cheating by not allowing people to go and vote, by trying to do whatever they can to prevent votes from being counted. That is not free, and that is not fair. That is sabotage. That is manipulation. And they do it with words, folks. They do it with words. They go to school and they study and they learn all kinds of legal jargon and mumbo jumbo and figure out how to put loopholes in, and instead of calling it what it is, instead of saying exactly what it is. Well, it's this, but it's this with these stipulations. No, the fuck it's not. It's this with no stipulations. If I gotta fucking pee, I gotta fucking pee. There's no stipulations to that. I gotta pee, but I can put my piss over here and no. If I gotta fucking piss, I gotta fucking piss. No stipulations. It is what it is. But the problem here, folks, is men have learned how to write things to confuse people. They know how to write things to deter people. And it's genius. And it works because it works. But we have to make that ineffective. We have to officially make that ineffective. And the way we do that is by not being afraid, is by not falling for the ball that they bounce into our court, for not drinking the Kool-Aid. We got to not drink their Kool-Aid, man. Because they putting all kinds of shit in it. And they put so much sugar in that shit that we can't taste the bullshit that they done mixed all throughout it. And I really would like us to become more self-aware of that. I mean, there's some of us that are, but there's a lot of us that are not. I really, really, really would love for us to become more self-aware about the things that are being done to us in our communities by these people that are writing laws. There are people sitting in rooms right now talking about black people and how to further disenfranchise us. You know that? And black men, you voted for that. There's some black men out there that voted for that. I'm going to take another break. And when I come back, I'll wrap it up. It's the Deron Harris Podcast. I'll be right back. Hey, everybody. What's up? Welcome back to the show. Talking about where we go from here after the election of Donald Trump and the appointing of a Republican government. Not Republican Senate, not Republican House, an entire Republican government. So that means God first, Christianity first, even though, I mean, the whole evangelical Christian thing to me is ridiculous too, because I don't get how you can hate shit and be a Christian. I don't get that. I don't get how you could be a racist and be Christian. I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. And they justify it and they stand up in it. Nobody ever answers that. How can you be a racist and be a Christian? I want people, I genuinely, I mean, I'm serious. I want somebody to answer that for me. There's a few things that Christians today, especially Christians in this country, Christian nationalists, Christian evangelicals, y'all got to answer some fucking questions to me. Okay, if you how the fuck are you racist and you follow the teachings of Jesus and call yourself a Christian? How do you do that? How are you like what the Bible says, a hypocrite? How are you this hypocrite? I mean, all you motherfuckers do talk about is guns. Guns, guns, guns. I went into an arcade the other day and the owner of the arcade had a gun right on his fucking hip. You know, there's a bunch of kids in here. Guns, guns, guns. And, it's the reason why where are you from? I'm from New York. I moved here because, the gun laws up there. Oh, yeah, you moved for gun laws? You know, you can still own a gun in New York. But you just have to register your gun in New York. You have to do background checks and shit that you should do. Like, unlike here in Florida, where you could just walk into a place, walk out with a gun, and put that bitch in your waist and walk around town with it. With nothing. Nobody even says shit. Nobody even says shit. But that's the way it is. But these, I mean, come on. I mean, and then right back to the Christians. I'm going to kick this right back over to the Christians. That's, the evangelicals that may be listening. I'm going to kick this right back over to y'all. Man. Okay. A weapon, right? A gun. A gun specifically. Okay? There's no other purpose for a gun. All right. There are other purposes for knives and ropes and, other instruments. There are other purposes for these instruments. The only purpose for a gun is to take a life. Correct? Would everybody agree with me? The only purpose that a gun has is to kill something, is to take a life. That's what the purpose of a gun is. Now, if one of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not kill, then how the fuck do y'all justify using tools that do exactly that kill people? And while we at it, I mean, you have to answer this for me. How the fuck y'all pro-life but pro-gun? I don't fucking get that. You motherfuckers are gonna have to make that clear to me. I mean, I just can't get it. How are you pro-life but then pro-gun? You want babies to be born. I'm gonna tell you why though in a minute, folks. You want babies to be born, but then you don't mind taking life. And listen to this. The reason they want babies to be born is there's a book called The Birth Dearth. And what it was is a book about how to maintain white people as the majority in the country and the ways to go about it. Okay? And one of the ways to go about it, because white women abort babies at a higher rate than anybody else, you got to stop them from having abortions so that our numbers can go back up. Because white women are figuring out, I don't need your fucking ass. I can go out and make my own money. I'm an independent woman. I don't need you. But white men are like, no. We can't be left out in the cold. So again, here comes this language. All this language to confuse people so that they can manipulate their way back into maintaining power. So if white women aren't aborting babies and they're having children and there's no more abortions, but listen to this. They'll pull out a gun and shoot a black person in the back without thinking about it. Cops will put a knee on a black person's neck and not even think about it. They'll abuse black people. All kinds of shit. Breonna Taylor was asleep. And they take our numbers away. It really is disgusting. And this is the party that you voted for. This is what you voted for, folks. This is what you voted. This is what y'all wanted, right? This is exactly what y'all wanted. This is what y'all wanted. Well, this is what we're getting. Well, currently right now, I live in the state of Florida. Florida right now is staunchly red. And I get the screw face from many MAGA hat wearing motherfuckers around here. I get the screw face from a lot of these folks. A lot of them. Screw face me to death. And listen, you can screw face me all you want. Keep that shit over there. You keep that shit over there and we won't have a fucking problem. That's period. But the problem with them is they can't keep it over there. They can't. They can't control themselves. They don't know what to fucking do with themselves. Oh yeah. Sucking this motherfucker's dick. But that's fine. That's fine. I think me and my wife are, people are like, oh, why are you? Because, man, I just don't want to be subjected to it. I'd rather move to an area where my wife and I are celebrated and not tolerated. And I'm sorry to say, I don't think the red states are going to do it for me. And there's a lot of beautiful red states. There's a lot of great people in these states. There's good black people, good white people, good Asian people, good Mexican people, Latin people. There's good everybody in all these red states. But it's the government in these states that is going to make them unlivable Florida is about to get bad here. The racial wealth gap here it's infuriating. And the movement to preserve it is even more infuriating. The movement to increase it is even more infuriating. And it's not just going to be held to race anymore. It's going to be class now. It's racism and classism at the same time. It's going to get really bad, folks. And for everybody, I said last pod, I want to be wrong, man. I do. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I want Donald Trump to be a great president for everybody in the country. I really do. I hope that he is. I don't want an authoritarian as a president, but I already got that. So I don't have any faith in that I will be wrong. But I still want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I want the economy to benefit everybody. I want everyone to be able to go to school and get a great education and get out and thrive in their lives. I want that for everybody. But I don't feel confident in that in this country. I don't think the American dream is in the hands of many people anymore, or in the sights, or in the realm of possibilities for many people anymore. But I'm going to tell you what. If this is what the American dream is turning into, then I don't fucking want it. And that's the truth. If I got to step on the necks of my fellow countrymen to get ahead in life, I don't fucking want that. I don't want a society where everybody's out here cutting each other's throats to get a fucking dollar. I don't want a society where everybody's out here cutting each other's throats to fucking find out where their next meal is going to come from. But both of those things are about to happen here. Because who we chose to vote for, and us not digging deeply enough into our own consciousness. Fuck eggs costing what they cost. If you mad about the price of eggs, go to Tractor Supply. A fucking chicken is $5. Okay? It's about morality, folks. And I'm sorry. These evangelical Christians, they are probably some of the least. They have some of the least righteous morals in the world. In the world. And the reason why is because they think that they're better than everyone. They think that they're better than the Muslim guy that opens the shop down the street. You know, they think that they're better than everyone. They think they're better than the Jewish people. They think they're better than the Hindus. Everybody's going to hell except for them. Well, guess what? All Christians, motherfuckers think y'all going to hell too. And a lot of you motherfuckers are going to hell. You're going to hell. Start reading that Bible y'all carrying around. You need to start reading the fucking Bible that you're carrying around. And that is the absolute honest to God truth. You need to start reading the Bible that you're carrying around, because a lot of the things that you're doing, you are in direct violation of what that book teaches you. But you don't seem to think so. You have even taken a biblical character and given it to this Donald Trump, You motherfuckers calling this guy Cyrus. He is not Cyrus, okay? And for those of you who are unfamiliar with who Cyrus was, Cyrus is he was a man that was a sinner, and he was really bad, and God turned him around and used him for works of good. And I don't know how shutting the Department of Education down is a work of good. I don't know how taking away health care benefits from underprivileged and elderly people is a work of good. I don't see that. And that's why you Christian fuckers out here talking about, oh, Jesus, just shut the fuck up. Fuck all of that. You hear me? Shut your fucking mouth. People sitting up here, oh, this is my friend. He's my friend. We've been friends a long time, man. My mama and his mama, they was friends too. But you went out and voted for Trump, and this motherfucker's your friend, and now you've disenfranchised your friend? Fuck you. But no, man, it's just, I don't feel all the way. But you feel, like somebody else said, all this other stuff. All right, but racism, classism and sexism was not a deal breaker for you. I got a friend that's, he said, oh man, Donald Trump this and Donald Trump that, and I can't vote for a Democrat, and Obama did this, and I can't, Joe Biden is all the time, man, just laying on into these people, but without turning around and seeing what the things that Trump has done and labeling those things as bad as well. He can't do it. He cannot do it. And it's because he sits there and watches one side. He sits and watches one side, and he watches politics, okay? It's politics. After a while, for me, politics is one thing. Morality is another. Now, I could like your politics, but if you turn around and tell me, oh, well, I'm going to make everybody a millionaire, we're going to give everybody a house, everybody's going to get a car, any car they want, but we're going to sterilize every woman in the country. No, I'm sorry, I can't vote for you. Oh, here's $10 million. I still can't vote for you. Here's $50 million. Hey, man, what part about me not voting for you did you not understand? And that's it. We are in control, folks. But we've forgotten that. We are in control. They make laws for us. And we can very simply say, no, fuck that. But we don't. They make it seem like these are the laws that you have to choose. Nah, you need to take that shit back to the drawing board and draw it up until it makes sense for everybody. Period. That's how it goes. Not this side or that side. I'm sick of the Democratic Party system. It needs to be bipartisanship all the time. Because both sides represent both sides of the country. And now that we have an all-Republican government, all Republicans are going to have representation. All Democrats are going to suffer. Every Democrat, every person who voted democratically in this country, even independently, even the independents, even the Republicans are going to suffer here in this country. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. And I just want to say good luck. I want to say good luck to everybody that's out there that voted for him. I want to say good luck to y'all. And congratulations. Congratulations. You got what you want. Good luck to you. I hope everything works out. I hope everything works out for everybody. And I said this last week, and I'll say it again. I'll say it again. All to anybody, any of my acquaintances, friends, family, I don't give a fuck who it is. The first thing he does to hurt anybody, to hurt my people especially, we not friends no more, man. I'm not fucking with you no more. Because him doing that to me was not a deal breaker for you. You cared too much about the cost of eggs to see that he was stripping me of my right to exist in this country as a free man. And now, stop and frisk is about to come back. Profiling is about to be in full effect around this motherfucker. My wife is Puerto Rican. I wholeheartedly expect to be pulled over for people trying to deport my wife. Although they can't because she's an American. But that's what I'm talking about. They all look alike anyway, right? Because that's generally what the motto is. The broad strokes are right there. It's just a broad stroke. That's how they all are anyway. That's who they all are. That's what they all look like. That's the broadest stroke in the business. And it wasn't us who created it. It was people who didn't see us as people who created it. And now once again, we are back in a position where there are people in power that don't see us as people. And you can try to dispute it all you want to. You can try to make excuses for it all you want to. There are some things in this country that we're speeding up on here quick. And it's going to be a lot harder before it gets better. And I don't want to be, I don't want to be a fear monger or anything like that, but things are about to get bad here, and they're going to get bad for everybody. They're not going to get bad for rich people. Rich people are always going to be good, but they're going to get bad for everybody below that line. And I will pray for everyone. I'm going to pray for everybody, man, that we could get through this. And at the end of the 4 years, we can have another choice. But he's already alluded to the fact that he wants the government to do something about him running again at the end of this 4 years. Here we go, y'all. This is what you voted for. You want this again? Now watch what the fuck happens. He's gonna fuck shit up. The people that voted for him are gonna be like, "Wow, he didn't do the things that we wanted him to do. He didn't. Watch what the fuck happens." And then they're gonna pass a law that says that he can run again, or that nobody else can ever again. And we're gonna be stuck with an authoritarian president, a right-wing regime, and the oppression is going to begin. I got a couple of questions, though. I was talking about black men that voted for Donald Trump. And I got a question. There's a few men out here. There's a few men like that I got questions for, like Tim Scott. I got a question for Tim Scott. I got a question for Byron Donaldson. Question for Herschel Walker. What the fuck y'all gonna do? Huh? I mean, because as much as you motherfuckers sucked his ass, it seems like he has overlooked the shit out of all of y'all for any kind of cabinet position so far. So far. So far. And I'm expecting him to continue to look past you. And I would look past you too. And I'll tell you why. I would look right past you if I were Donald Trump. And the reason why I would look past you is because, man, you sure did sell your fucking people out. You really did. And you have positioned yourself for white adjacency. You want a piece of this puzzle. You want to be considered in this new regime. You want to maintain whatever little morsels of what you have under this new regime. You want to maintain that. So what do? If you can't beat them, you join them. Like 50 Cent. I had to unfollow 52. That hurt my heart. But that's what it is, y'all. That's what it is, y'all. You're trying to maintain. You're trying to hold on to what you got. Uncle Tom's. That's the name that I'm forever gonna have for you, Clarence Thomas. The father of Uncle Tom's. The father of modern day Uncle Tom's. And fucking Marco Rubio, fucking Uncle Tomas. He's horrible too. His grandfather was a fucking immigrant who was actually deported. Right? What a douche. You're a douche, bro. But it's all right. It is all right. And one more thing before I wrap it up. There's one person a couple people I kind of want to address. People like Ice Cube and people like Dr. Umar. I want to address those guys, and I want to say why, man. Why did you tell people not to vote for Kamala? Why did you tell black people not to vote for that? Why? Because here we are now. Why did you tell black people not to vote for Kamala Harris? I mean, did they pay you? Did they pay you to do this? I mean, I don't have a PhD, Dr. Umar. I really don't. And I probably can't ever debate you, man. I used to have a lot of respect for you. But the minute you told black people not to vote for their future is the minute I lost every shred of respect for you, Mr. King Kong Consciousness. It seems like you were unconscious when this came about. It seems like you were unconscious when black people needed your strong voice to have them stand up and fight harder so that we could persevere. But instead, what you did is you tore down a black woman and you helped install white supremacy, sir. And my question is, did they pay you? I hope they didn't. And if they did, I hope you made enough money to hide your ass forever. It's disgusting. It's disgusting at people, at minorities who stood up and believed this person. It's disgusting. It's disrespectful to the people who fought for you to be here. I think that's going to do it for this week's episode, folks. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting a little heated, getting a little off track. So I'm going to go and sit down and calm myself down a little bit, because I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to become bothered, and I don't want to be in a bad mood all day. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a wrap for the day, folks. But think about what I'm saying, man. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? My wife and I, we're looking at property. We're looking at large acreage somewhere in a blue state, somewhere close to a border somewhere. We don't know. But we're looking, because as soon as things go off the rails here, we're on the first thing smoking out of here. I want to thank my parents, and I want to thank my wife for supporting me and for giving me the courage to do this. I want to thank my producer, Jay Yandel, and my best friend for basically putting me up to this and helping me do the research every week. I want to thank Gentry Thomas for the platform that I come to you guys on. And last but not least, I want to thank everybody out there listening to my voice right now. I do appreciate you, even if you are Republican. I don't have problems with Republicans. I really don't. I have problems with haters, with bullies, with dictators, with authoritarianism, with narcissists. I have a problem with that, folks. I don't have a problem with you. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
You've been listening to the Darren Harris Podcast. Subscribe to the show, give a good rating, and everything you need to know is at DarrenHarris.com.